Okay, so we got all of our Scorpion rockers on here, and we got a good aerial view coming down on the engine where we can see the lifter valley here. Now, we're going to go ahead and adjust our valves beforehand and set our lifter preload is what we're really doing here. So I've done this numerous times on quite a few engines over the years, and this method always works. I never have any clacking lifters. So there's a few methods that people use. There's some methods where when a certain cylinder is wherever placed, you adjust this, that, and whatever lifter. I don't like that method myself, so I go about it a bit differently. It takes more time, but you know it's right. So what I like to do is I'm going to rotate the engine over, and when one lifter of a cylinder is at its full lifted dwell, then I'm going to go ahead and adjust the opposing lifter, because we know that lifter is on the base circle of the cam lobe, and the base circle is obviously the back side of the lift lobe, and that's when we can adjust our valve. When we determined our push rod length, that's what we used, so naturally we're going to use that again. And so anyway, a good one you can see from the camera here is probably this one right here. So cylinder we're dealing with cylinder 2. So we're going to go ahead and turn the engine around. Notice I have all my rocker studs on here, and they're not tied all. They're 2 or 3 threads in, just so they're sitting there. And I've removed all the set screws. Now I've done this so that when I'm setting it, I don't accidentally think it's on the set screw and make a bad adjustment. I've been with people and have watched them make that mistake, so we're not going to make that mistake today. So we're going to go ahead and rotate the engine over here, and you're going to want to hold your fingers on the lifters because of the oil or the assembly lubricant we've used. Once these lifters lift up, they could get stopped, or they're not going to just naturally float back down to the cam lobe because we don't have any spring tension on them yet. So we'll do the second cylinder since we can see it real well. So now our exhaust is coming up, and when it stops coming up, all right, it has stopped coming up, and so it's at its full lifted dwell. And our intake rocker then on cylinder 2 is on its the base circle of the cam. Now we can come down in here like such, and notice I didn't put any assembly lubricant on the top of this fulcrum because it'll distort your feel. So a lot of people like to bump their lifter around, or I mean their push rod here, but there's numerous ways you can do it. You can spin it, and then when it gets tension, but really with these locking rocker nuts here, they turn so freely without the lock that you can literally come down until they stop. But a good check here is move your push rod up and down and spin it. Once you feel a little bit of drag, you know where you're supposed to be. Now, from this point, we want to put about 20 thousandths preload on this lifter here. So once we've reached our point, we're going to go ahead and rotate this. So this flat part here will be 180 below. So it's a half turn is 20 thousandths preload for this specific thread pitch. So we're going to go ahead and make our half turn. Now this is proper preload, and then now we can go ahead and I want to get our little Allen key locks here. We're going to go ahead and lock this in, and this one will be finished. So we do this by simply setting our wrench on here. We're going to run this down to the top of our stud. And then we're going to hold our rocker nut so it's not going anywhere, and put just a good little twist on our locking set screw. And once your Allen wrench here starts to bend, you know you're good and tight. You don't need to go any farther than that, and it's locked in. It's not going to go anywhere. It'll stay like that. I run solid lifters like that, and it's completely locked in. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to move through the entire engine in this manner. And it takes a bit of time, but when you're done, you know it's right, and you have confidence when you light the key off, when you first drop it in your engine, that you're not going to hear any lifter clatter, and then you can run your engine in without worry. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and then we should be good to go.